recent 10 years or 20 years, the intestine health has been in the focus of animal health, actually. People say that when you feed animals, you have to, first of all, feed bacteria in the gut. So if you can keep the intestine healthy, and you can have healthy animals. So today, I'm going to share with you why intestine only is not enough. So liver is also very important to integrate the intestine and the whole body. Because I've been teaching physiology for almost 40 years, so I'd like to share with you what is physiology. Physiology comes from two ancient Greek words. That is, physis is nature or origin, and logia certainly is study. So physiology, putting together, is a study about the logic of life. And in Chinese, so the physiology, these three Chinese characters, tell you even more directly what physiology is. Because the first character is life, and the second is logic, and the third is certainly study. So physiology is a study about the logic of life. So certainly because physiology is about the logic of normal life under the normal state, we say physiological state. So we are more focusing on the functions, just compared with anatomy, which focus on structure, morphology, and development. And physiology focusing more on function, mechanism, and regulation. Basically, the questions we ask is how, for example, how your heart is beating, and why you are beating faster, your heart beating faster. And previously when I teach physiology, I always tell my students saying that, okay, the first year when you come to the vet medicine school, and you're gonna learn anatomy, and you cut the animal into pieces, and then you study histology, and you cut even in more pieces, and then you certainly go to cell biology, and you digest the tissue into single cell, and then you go into biochemistry, and you study the single molecules. And physiology, we try to integrate these different parts, molecules, cells, tissues, and all different kinds of organs together into the whole body. So we have to know how health is achieved in the whole body, not just in the one molecule, or one cell, or one tissue. Okay? So physiology is the science of life at different levels. So homeostasis, so I've been teaching physiology, you know, you guys, if you're in major of vet medicine or in major of animal science, you must have learned animal physiology. But after 10 or 20 years, you may forget. But one word you need to keep in mind. If you keep this word in mind, you don't forget physiology. This word is homeostasis. So homeostasis is the core concept of physiology. If you remember this word, and you will almost remember 99% of physiology. So what is homeostasis? The classic view of homeostasis is we do have a kind of set point. It's like a balance. So, for example, your blood pressure and your body temperature, and you have to keep in a certain physiological range. So the body can actually regulate within very narrow of physiological range. So, which is, we call it set point. And if you are unable to restore the balance, it can lead to death. And it's true for humans, certainly it's true for all different kinds of animals. So homeostatic regulation is the key to animal health. So physiology is the body's way of keeping everything balanced. If it's not working, and you come to pathology, and it's out of balance. So nowadays, there's new work which now is included in the whole big broad meaning of homeostatic regulation, which is allostasis. Because the set point for different kinds of trait or different kinds of physiological parameters can be improved by aging, for example. And my body weight 30 years ago was only 45 kilograms. Now I have 62. So this does not mean that I'm unhealthy. I'm still healthy because my age, around my age, then the set point of my body weight shifted. And this is true for blood pressure too. And for animal science, because we are doing this genetic selection, we are pushing the animal genetic potential to higher, faster, bigger, So, for the genetic selection or for the nutritional regulation, we are shifting the set point, but we still have to keep in mind that you still have to keep them within physiological range, right? So, for the animal science, so we are doing genetic selection for improved trait. And for the human medicine, these allostasis give us a kind of challenge to define what is disease. We're not going to say that aging is a disease. We certainly are not going to say growth is a disease. And we have a lot of adaptation when you are under a different kind of environment. And although this is shifted a little set point, but you are not going to define this is disease, okay? And for the veterinary medicine, it's also even more difficult because we are dealing with different kinds of animals, and we are dealing with different breeds and different lines, and they do have different kinds of physiological parameters. So if you are, a swine vet, if you tested the temperature of a sow, and you tested 40 degrees, and they say, oh no, they are high fever. No, this is normal, because they have a higher body temperature than a human being. You cannot just say we have 37 degrees, all the other animals should have 37 degrees as a physiological range. So you have to keep in mind that homeostatic regulation, one thing is to keep the set point, another thing is that we have to know that the set point may shift. So this picture shows very beautifully how the body works and how to maintain health. So all these different kinds of organs, we have a different kind of organs, heart, lung, kidney, intestine, and all these organs work together just to achieve one thing called goal, which is to supply this cell. I'm still in balance. No worries. I don't know this. So this single, because this pointer does not work. Okay. So this single cell, the living environment of the cell is, we call it internal environment. So all different kind of organs and tissues, they work together. And just to maintain, to provide the cells with optimal condition, like pH, osmotic pressure, and also temperature, oxygen concentration, carbon dioxide concentration, etc. And all the cells, when they are properly functional, and they can form these different kind of organs and to work together. It's like in Chinese we say 人人为我，我为人人. means everybody work for me, and I work for everybody. That's the physiology. You see? And so this picture cartoon, does it work? No, I think this screen wouldn't. No, this would work, but doesn't work for the screen. Doesn't matter. So look at this frame, and this yellow square is skin, the border of our body, to keep the temperature and protect the body in internal organs. And certainly, you see, we have this gut intestinal tract going from us. Okay, this is a tubing, a tube go across and throughout the body. And then the lung just provide oxygen and eliminate the carbon dioxide. And the kidney also keep the water balance and also excrete the waste substances. And the heart is really important because it pumps the blood, goes through all different kind of vessels, and to provide each cell with the condition they need to function properly. Where is the liver? Because today the main topic is liver health, and I'm going to share with you how important liver is. The liver is actually just between the gut intestinal and the blood. It's like a filter system. It's guarding the health of the body of the animal. So let's say how important in a homeostasis regulation of the liver. So this is an Asian view, which is very, very interesting. And I always like to share this with my students and with you guys too. In the ancient China, we say a liver is a place where the blood is stored. So when you are at peace, when you sit here, you are not doing anything, and most majority of maybe a very big percentage of your blood will be stored in the liver. But when you are running, and this blood will be distributed, build it into your muscles, skeletal muscle, into your heart, and to provide them with good oxygen and good neutrons. So liver is actually an organ to regulate the yin-yangs. You know, Asian Chinese, we like yin-yang, and there's negative and positive regulation. And in the West, this ancient Greek, and for example, Hippocrates, and he have idea that the health is based on the balance among these four humors, like the blood, flame, black bile, and yellow bile. And this is an Asian understanding of health. And for other humor of the body fluid, and you can keep balance by sweating, by vomiting, or by whatsoever. But they think that very often that the liver, continuously produces blood. So that time they don't have any idea that blood is circulated, and they think the liver produces continuously blood, and if the liver produces too much of blood, and you're gonna be sick. So in this case, the ancient Greek and the Rome, and they think in order to keep health and in this so-called blood clotting. This blood clotting has been keeping for in China. So they have this kind of guideline to the book showing you where to, to cut, and then to remove the blood to treat something, some disease. And then, in history, this first president of the United States, George Washington, actually he died of excessive bloodletting in 1799. And within 24 hours, and he lost 4.75 liters of blood. So you know, for man, we normally have 5.5 liters. For female, we do have 4.5 liters blood. So you see, we have this legacies left over from this historic bloodletting. For example, you know, this salon, this hair salon, and you have this kind of lab. And there is understanding that this red meaning artery, and this white meaning baggage, and the blue mean vein. So actually, in the old time, and the people don't go to the hospital to get this bloodletting, and they go to these barber shops, and they use this knife. This knife is called lesson. And the lesson become the most famous medical journal and have an impact factor last year jumped over to over 200, which is very high. So these are actually legacies from historical bloodletting. So in ancient China, we think that liver is the place to store blood or redistribute blood. And in ancient, you know, Greek or Rome, and they think liver is a place to produce blood. And what is actually the reason or current understanding of physiological functions of liver? And liver is actually the largest solid organ in the body, and it weighs 1.5 kilo in average for human. And it has, interestingly, it has a pure blood supply, and it actually has 1/4 of cardiac output. So from this, you can see that the liver has two blood supply, 70% to 80% of blood from portal vein, which collects everything absorbed from the gut-intestinal system, and which is nutrient rich, but without a lot of oxygen. And then the artery, hepatic artery, supply the liver with oxygen-rich blood. So it has two dual blood supply. One in blue is nutrient-rich, and the artery in red is oxygen-rich. And you have oxygen, you have neutrons, and in the liver, and you can do a lot of things. And so the oxygen consumption is 20% of total body's oxygen consumption at rest, which is in the liver. And then which actually we have the body temperature, and the liver, when you are at rest, liver produces 50% of your heat to maintain your body temperature. So, and also the protein synthesis, and actually we have lots of proteins in the blood, and except antibodies, all the proteins in your blood is produced by the liver. So in this case, actually, liver is a place to produce blood. It's not so wrong. So you know, the plasma proteins are mainly produced by the liver. And then it is the biggest gland. It can produce bioacids, and it can produce like growth factors, insulin-like growth factors. 75% of insulin-like growth factors are produced by the liver. And certainly produce lots of other hormones, enzymes, and proteins. And it's an organ which can detoxicate a lot of drugs and toxins, and it has a big center for metabolism. And also, recently, the immunologists agreed that liver is the most important, one of the most important immune organs, because 80% to 90% of macrophages, tissue resident macrophages, are living in the liver, which is called Kupffer cells. And it can detoxinate and can eat the bacteria from the portal vein to the liver. And also liver is has a very strong power to regenerate. So if you cut half of the liver, and it can grow to full size within 1 to 10 days, within 1 week to 10 days to the original size. And you can hardly believe it. And this liver is one of the organ inside of your body which has highest potential for regeneration. And so liver has more than 500 types of functions. And here we show that the bile acids, you see liver produces from cholesterol as substrate and to produce bile salts, bile acids, and then which will go from the bile duct to store them in the gallbladder, and then after you eat, and then the gallbladder will be contract, and then to excrete the bile acids to the intestine, and then 90%, actually 95% of the bile acids will be reabsorbed. So actually 95% secreted bile acids will be recycled, and 5% newly synthesized bile salts every day from the liver. So, and you will be always amazed how nature made a great job to constitute such beautiful structure of liver. So when you see here, this is a microstructure of the liver, and you see these 3 tubes sitting together, and this greenish tube is actually the bile duct, and then the yellow one, not yellow, the blue one is portal vein, and then the red one is arterial. And then everything will be come together in the liver, hepatocytes, and to produce whatever they want to produce. And then finally, the blood will drain off back to the heart through this hepatic vein. So this is a very, nicely formed structure, and to perform this very complex functions of the liver. We have mainly 3 types of cells inside of the liver. Certainly the big factory for all this metabolism and also the protein production is the hepatocytes, which are in this orange. And then we do have this macrophage, these Kupffer cells in red, and then it's like a guard sitting there and to monitor whatever is absorbed from the intestine. So, and then we do have these stellate cells, and in purple, and then when there is a liver injury, and these stellate cells will be activated, and it can seal like a fire extinction. So can seal off these injured parts, and using this so-called ECM, so extracellular matrix, and to restrict the injury within the local place. So these 3 types of cells are the major player for more than 500 types of liver functions. And we have in our body, we have like 30 trillion human cells, and more than 80% of these 30 trillion are red blood cells. So we have like 200 types of cells, but you know, the majority, more than 80% of our cells are red blood cells. And these red blood cells, you know, like 2.5 million red blood cells will die within 1 second. So each second we have 2.5 million red blood cells die. And then the liver has to process them, have to get rid of this bilirubin, which is toxic, and through the bile. So, and if you have any problem with the liver, and you're gonna have the problems with this bilirubin excretion. So, liver is the body's quality control and sewage system. This is put it in a simple way. Liver is a control system for body's quality control, and also get rid of these toxins and drug metabolites, and also the bilirubin, which is, you know, the waste product of our red blood cells, eliminated. So the summary of the liver function, you see, it's the very important exocrine gland, which can excrete bilirubin, bile salts, cholesterol, and electrolytes, and also it has to produce majority of the plasma proteins, also clotting factors, enzymes, and hormones, and it is the center for metabolism. Carbohydrates, lipids, protein, hormones, vitamins, microelements, and it has also nutrient storage for glycogen, vitamins, and iron, copper, etc. And also it's also a major organ for detoxification, for example, alcohol, drugs, toxins, phagocytosis, you know, to eat the bacteria or even some big particles, you know, leaked from the intestine to the portal blood. And also it plays a very significant role in the defense, body defense, by these corpuscle cells, and also when you are cutting some vein, and you have the blood clotting system activated from the blood, and also this complement system for body's defense. And so this is amazing liver, and you see this is not only creates blood proteins, clotting factors, everything, and storage and metabolism, and also it's very important for immunity. You know, since this is a very important organ, so it has lots of diseases associated with the liver functions, which can be infectious disease, and it can be tumor, and it can be vascular disease, metabolic disorder, and toxins, you know. I'm not going to list all this. And in our animal industry, fish or lobster, shrimp, or chicken, you know, pigs, whatsoever, cattle, dairy cattle, and they also have these liver problems, you know, fatty liver. And in human, like 1/3 of adult men suffer from fatty liver disease, and some of them may progress into poor condition, even to cancer at the end. So, you know, in conclusion, is that not only gut, but also liver. Now we say that gut-liver axis plays very important role in health and disease. And then I just give you some kind of basic introduction to the bile salts or bile acids. And the bile, this is composition and classification of the bile. And bio, actually 97.6% is water. And then only 2.4% is solid substances. And in these solid substances, they have this inorganic, mostly these ions, sodium, calcium, potassium chloride, bicarbonate. And organic substances, 80% of the organic substances in the bio is biosalts. And certainly, the other organic substances are biopigments like bilirubin and cholesterol, fatty acids, lecithin, and mucin. And then bioacids, and that's very complex actually. And I really admire your courage to get into fatty acid business, bioacid business, because that is so complicated molecules, a group of different structure, different function molecules. And so for the classification, so if you classify them according to the structure, and you can separate them into free bioacids and conjugated bioacids, which can be conjugated with taurine or glycine. Actually, in the bio, so majority of 90%, over 90% of your bioacids are conjugated. And then from the origin, and the primary bioacids are those produced by the liver. And then the secondary bioacids are actually metabolized by the bacteria in the column. So I just marked them in red, which is produced directly by the liver. This is primary, and the secondary is metabolized by the bacteria in the column. And you don't need to keep this in mind because it's so complicated. But I already told you that in different animals, I will give you a kind of brief overview. Different animals, the bio composition are different, actually. So here I see that the synthesis, actually bioacids are from synthesized from cholesterol. And for the classical pathway or the alternative pathway, they come up with different type of bioacids. And then in the colon, and with the bacteria metabolism, and then they have the secondary bioacids. So you see, they have a different. This core structure is exactly the same as the cholesterol, because cholesterol is this structure, and then the only differences of different bioacids is this group. So different kind of with or without this deoxygenation or oxidation group, and then you form different types of bioacids. So the bioacids in human, the major bioacids are conjugated. The taurine CA and the glycine CA are conjugated forms of cholic acid, YLT, CDCA. It's very, very complex. I don't want to confuse you, but you'll see that in the plasma, in the gallbladder, and in the duodenum and the jejunum, and just to look briefly, and they have similar kind of composition. But when you look at the features, because after this bacterial metabolism and the composition changes significantly. And pig is a very interesting animal, and because its bioacid composition differs significantly from human. And they have a very big percentage of high cholic acids, HCA. They have 76% of total bioacids in plasma is HCA. And look at this. This is a pig, this red, and 76% is red. And when you look at human and a mouse, and they have very little. And which makes pig very interesting because they are very fat, but they never go into diabetes, just because of this HCA. And many studies focusing on HCA, they think that HCA is a kind of biomarker for diabetes. So if you detected a low level of HCA in the blood, and you have a higher risk factor for diabetes. So even if somebody are fat, but they have very high HCA in the blood, you are safe. So it's very interesting study. And chicken, they also have different kind of bile acid composition. I don't want to go into detail. And the bile acids, and they have multiple functions. And here listed a lot of functions of bile acids, like tissue remodeling, energy balance, and glucose lipid homeostasis. You know, I don't want to just confuse you with all the details. But bile acids has multiple functions. And the classic function of bile salts is indigestion and absorption. Because when you feed animals with high fat in the diet, and you really need to have these bile acids to emulsify fats for absorption, and also for promote the absorption of liquid-soluble vitamins, and to inhibit the formation of gallstones, because you have to have the optimal rate from the bile salts and lecithin to cholesterol. If bile acids are not enough, you have high cholesterol, and you have a very big chance to get gallstones. And also, because it's a bit basic, so it can neutralize gastric acids in duodenum. And then the bile acids has very important metabolic regulatory functions. And this paper actually shows why pigs are obese, but they are not diabetic. So just because the HCA species can inhibit FXR, but can stimulate or activate TGR, which can stimulate the secretion of GLP-1 and can inhibit the feed intake, improve the insulin synthesis and secretion, and also increase glucose uptake and improve energy expenditure, and which can actually help the animals or humans within the physiological range of insulin sensitivity. And bile acids also play a role in detoxification. And there are lots of phase 1 and phase 2 detoxination enzymes can be stimulated by bile acids. And these are a simple study to see adding folic acids into the feed, into the chicken diet, can decrease T2 toxin in the blood. And there are lots of cases for bile acids application. I think you guys are more experienced than me in using these bile acids. And I just listed a few of them, which is published openly. And for these different types of bile acids, which can improve gut health and improve immunity, and improve also FCR. And with Longchang, and they have also quite some papers published, and we are collaborating them to do experiment in chicken to improve the FCR and also to detoxinate the mycotoxins. So I think I just share with you a very, very basic understanding of the bile acids and how important is the liver in homeostatic regulation. I'd like to take this chance to thank the Longchang for your nice invitation and to invite me to be here and to join this beautiful event with you guys. And also, we have established this research institute in collaboration with Longchang.
And we will continue to work hard and to dig deeper into the liver mystery, the mystery of the liver, and to contribute to animal health as well as human health. Thank you very much.